What is going on, everyone? Welcome to our next attack. Unfortunately, I messed up my OBS settings and there's no audio for this playthrough, which is going to suck. So just bear with me. I'll just voice over all I can. And yeah, we'll get straight into the action. I keep on pushing my recon forward to see if we can spot anyone across the river, but we're not having any luck. So we go a little bit farther. And finally, we find some type of AT gun that's on my mini map. So I try to hide my guys in a bush and spread them out so they don't get killed. I begin sending my artillery as close as possible. We have two 105s and two 4.5 centimeter guns, so we're going to try to kill as many as we can with artillery before we push with infantry and tanks. Germans send a plane right at us, but we're able to kill it pretty quickly with AA. Germans push a Panzer IV down to the river, but my tank destroyer is able to get one shot, killing two of the crewmen. I use my off-map plane recon to start spotting for my artillery units to start shelling any type of guns that they see, and look at that mini-map. They are covered in enemy forces, enemy emplacements, and enemy tanks. I remember seeing a 7.5 flat gun, so I try to use a HE shell with my 90mm and kill all 4 crewmen and the gun itself. We continue the barrage of certain points, hoping to kill as many as we can, but then we spot a recon unit and we're able to hit him with the direct HE shell. I begin selecting my units on the far west side to start pushing them across the river so we can get some sort of flank on the points and get some ground. With this creek in the middle, it just became a crazy artillery fest. We tried to kill as many as we could with just using shells. Wanting to get the foothold on the far east side, I start pushing recon forward to see if we can get any troops on the other side without being spotted. A recon element pushes across the creek, but we're able to kill them very quickly with tank and rifle fire. Sherman tanks provide covering fire as my 101st Airborne get across the bridge. Germans repair the Panzer IV in the middle of the creek, so I spread my tanks out to deal with the threat. My tank destroyer is able to kill it with one good shot. Over to the far west, my infantry start taking artillery shells, so we push them into the forest, hoping to get some cover from anything that's shooting at us. Forward recon spots a Panzer IV entrenched, so I start getting my Shermans to start engaging it. The vengeful Luftwaffe come in again, but AA is able to kill it before it strafes any of my men, and it doesn't do a kamikaze run on anyone. Knowing that the Germans have artillery pieces in the rear, I send my 101st Squad forward to hopefully spot it and kill the crew. Sure enough, we find a rocket piece, so we start engaging with rifle fire as my units push up to get grenades on, and eventually we are able to kill all the infantry nearby. I take a couple soldiers to man the gun as we start reloading the rockets. With it reloaded, we start pounding Objective Charlie with as many rockets as possible. We hear another artillery piece in the back shooting at us, so we start engaging it as fast as we can. We flank the enemy and try to kill all the crew. Spot another arty piece, kill all the crew, and then capture it as our own. Not realizing that enemy artillery has been shattering my men that are pushing down the center. Not paying too much attention on my east side either, I see that my guys are being engaged by field cannons, so I try to retreat them as best I could and get cover. With advancing tanks and arty fire, we're going to start pushing 3 guys across the creek to help start capturing Point Charlie. I use one of my tanks as a mobile AA gun. With a Panther and a big concentration of infantry in the center, I push all artillery to start focusing on this spot. Hoping to get more infantry in the fight, I push another squad forward as well as tanks to help support any point on Charlie. Down to the last 2 guys in their squad, they start crawling closer and closer to point as recon tries to help. With Charlie being overrun, Germans start placing all their soldiers on Alpha and Delta as much as possible with troops everywhere. And so here comes the arty. Germans push back my far east side with the Panzer I, suppressing my troops as I try to get a tank there as soon as I can. Now that Charlie is ours, we can start focusing on the center and pushing towards Alpha. Germans bring a transport truck full of infantry to Point Delta, so we start shelling it with as many artillery shells as possible. As my infantry started assaulting Alpha, I push up my tanks to help them as much as they can from far distance. Our new German artillery has great effect on target, clearing mostly the cover and obstacles. A huge wave of German infantry pushed my forwardmost guys on Alpha, killing them both, so I try to get my tanks up to help. Trying to get revenge, arty and tanks start laying down any fire they can in the smoke, killing all the Germans inside. To the far east, we find another rocket launcher. We're able to get a good grenade on it, killing most of them and finishing them off with rifles. With most of the infantry gone on Alpha, we renew our assault, killing 1 infantry along the way as tanks provide covering fire from the rear. With Alpha and Charlie now in our hands, we start pushing tanks into the town to start clearing any houses or entrenched places that we find. Thanks to artillery and tanks, we're able to start capturing Delta with the cover of great accurate shots, killing any more men on the outside. Forgetting that I set them to attack ground, I see my artillery start to fire back on point Delta, so I try to cancel as soon as possible, but they're able to kill 2 of my men that are already on point. I finally kill another recon plane that's been up in the sky for the past 7 days. With 1 more point to go, I start collecting all forces that I have to see what units I have available for the final assault. With some resistance in town, we're able to go through town pretty quickly and push any units forward. I bring out a controllable plane to do some strafing runs on some infantry and maybe a in-place gun. I don't really kill that much, but it seems like a lot of fun. This is the first time I've ever used it. And yeah, I try it. I do the strafing run, and then I go back to the regular units. I don't really use it for much more. I should have tried to use it again, probably. I tried to maneuver my tanks through the narrow streets against a field cannon, but a stug appears off to the left, so I reposition my tanks. We try to get a flanking shot on it. We shoot it once, not doing any damage, but then we're able to kill it off screen. Looking at the last point, my artillery keeps on shelling it as much as possible as a Panzer I sits entrenched behind some bunkers. My last assault very badly with my tank going down from a Panzerfaust, so my infantry start engaging the close range, killing 2 of them with an SMG, so I pull up another tank to help support the assault, but there is a hidden mine that I don't see that tracks it in place, making it unusable to push on to point. We're still able to kill the Panzer I with a good clean shot. That clears the way for my infantry to run in, but they start taking fire from their own tank as well as infantry that are hidden behind some sandbags. My tanks deal with the pack gun on the side. My rocket artillery decides to kill my only 2 guys that are left on point. With the first squad failing, I get another squad up forward to start engaging people on point, and we're able to start the cap slowly but surely. I try to hide my guys on point as most of my tanks are either taken out or tracked, as there's a medium tank in the minimap that's pushing that objective. Turns out it was an AA cannon, and we were able to take it out pretty quickly with another tank coming up from the rear. Known to me, the Germans sent a paratrooping plane behind my lines hoping to land, but they landed right next to my quad AA that just left a trail of dead bodies. Officers on point were able to secure the point as well as the victory. Securing this battle was a huge success because I feel like we were just on the down and down at the very end. I don't know how we did it. Just artillery, just rain shells all day long. It was a tough fight. I almost lost all my infantry. Yeah, there was definitely better ways to go about this, but I tried my best. I'm sorry there was no audio, which I kind of realized that once I finished recording. But I hope you guys stuck around. It was a good fight. It was a good win. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.